So I bumped into this video. They talking about 5M's downfall was planned. I wonder what is that about? Like let's just check it out, cause I want to know. Like, you feel me? Like, why not? If it's bullshit, I'm gonna take it off, but I want to see what the fuck. Cause for real, I haven't seen a lot of people use 5M like that anymore.
The 5M situation is way more dramatic than we all thought. Anonymous insiders have just revealed the entire story, filled with betrayal, corruption, backstabbing, and Rockstar's shady takeover. We're talking about stolen money, fake developers, and even private investigators showing up at people's houses. This story is so insane, there could have been a whole Netflix series made out of it. This isn't just another modding drama, it's one of the biggest betrayals in GTA history, but let's start from the beginning. 2014, the year when a developer known as NT Authority, or NTA, created the Citizen MP framework, a project that served as the first step toward custom multiplayer experiences in GTA 4, allowing players to create unique game modes and totally custom content. The success of Citizen MP inspired NTA to push the idea even further when GTA 5 launched. Because let's be real, GTA Online was fun, but it had serious limitations. Players couldn't add custom assets, and everything was locked to Rockstar's official servers. The potential for user-generated content was clear, but Rockstar wasn't giving players the tools to truly create something new, and that's something NTA wanted to fill with 5M. But instead of making 5M a private developer-controlled platform, NTA took a completely opposite approach, making it totally open source, with heavy community involvement. By 2015, 5M was already gaining a lot of traction. Players were experimenting with new ideas, building insane mods, and pushing the limits of what was possible in GTA 5. But while the community loved it, Rockstar and Take-Two saw it as competition that they needed to eliminate. That same year, Take-Two took drastic action. They banned the accounts of 3 key 5M community members, including NTA themselves. This was shocking because up until that point, Rockstar had generally been tolerant of modding. They even supported mods, promoting some of the best ones on their official newswire, as long as it didn't touch GTA Online. But 5M wasn't messing with GTA Online. It was a completely separate multiplayer experience. Rockstar, however, had a different view. In an official statement, they claimed, "The 5M project is an unauthorized alternate multiplayer service that contains code designed to facilitate piracy. Our policy on such violations of our terms of service is clear, and the individuals involved in its creation have had their social club accounts suspended." This statement was confusing. 5M wasn't designed to support piracy. In fact, it required players to own a legitimate copy of GTA 5. Yet, Rockstar treated it as a direct threat. A few months later, Rockstar did something unbelievable. They sent private investigators to NTA's home, demanding a complete cessation of any 5M-related activity. When NTA refused, they handed them another cease and desist letter. While the exact contents of this letter were never revealed,
Now I thought they were all like cool. I thought like 5M and Rockstar, like they were cool and shit. Like I didn't really think for real though. Like this is my first time hearing about this shit. That's insane. I didn't know they was going through that shit. But interesting though. I want to find out a little bit more. You know?
it's safe to assume Rockstar was ordering them to shut 5M down completely. But they didn't stop there. Rockstar even sent spies into 5M's private chat rooms, infiltrating conversations and later using them as evidence in legal proceedings in the court. And this wasn't some legal battle between two tech giants, it was Rockstar and Take-Two, a massive corporation, trying not only to shut down, but mentally break a 23-year-old developer who had nothing but the player's best interests in mind. Here's how NTA described the whole incident. "So, I just got a pair of PIs at my door claiming to be sent by Take-Two, handing me a phone with a person somewhere in the UK or US or whatever to discuss how to cease my activities with regard to Grand Theft Auto. That they know what happened before with Activision and want to not get the lawyers involved at this time. However, they have tested their legal standing already and are quite certain of their point, and aren't willing to accept any solution other than ceasing my activities. Under this pressure, NTA was forced to quit all operations related to 5M. However, not for long. With 5M down, revival projects quickly popped up, the most notable being 5 Reborn and Multi-5. Although not as popular as 5M, these projects made it clear that people didn't want the project to die. Just a few months after the whole legal fiasco, NTA decided to fight back by joining hands with 5 Reborn and restructuring the project under the original 5M name. However, NTA's identity was hidden under the disguise of CFX Collective, and the rest of the smaller team used Elements as their aliases to avoid legal trouble with Take-Two. And it surprisingly worked. For years to come, NTA would work on improving the current condition of 5M, adding new content, tools, menus, and a whole lot more. By 2019, what started as a small platform supporting just a couple dozen players had grown to support over 2,000 slots, an incredible achievement for NTA and his small team of unpaid volunteers. But it's important to note that CFX.RE wasn't a big company yet. In fact, it wasn't a company at all. NTA was still handling everything alone, with only temporary volunteer help from the community. It wasn't until mid-2020 that NTA decided to put together a proper team, bringing in developers who had previously helped with 5M's development and troubleshooting. But the real downfall of 5M began when two friends, Deltanic and Thayers, joined the team. With 5M's team now growing to 5 members, NTA was finally able to step back from managerial tasks, handing those responsibilities over to Deltanic and Thayers. However, things quickly went downhill. For months, the two contributed nothing. No replies, no meetings, no progress at all. And as time passed, their behavior only got worse. By 2021, NTA decided to hire more skilled developers to push 5M forward. This group, later known as the original developers, included LWSS, Gotti, Thorium, and Tabara. Meanwhile, Zinurki and Nimawa aligned themselves with Deltanic and Thayers, forming
What type of name are these, bro? Where these niggas from? The fuck? It's crazy.
what would later be called the Groot Gang. 5M was now split into two groups, but the worst was yet to come. By 2022, 5M was growing up into one of the most popular platforms every GTA fan wanted to play. And when Rockstar failed to shut it down by force, they decided to do the next best thing, buy out the competition. They reached out to 5M to make a deal. However, NTA had no idea. Instead, Deltanic took it upon himself to privately negotiate with Rockstar behind their back. At that point, NTA had no choice but to go through with the deal. Deltanic had already exposed their real identity to Rockstar, and with NTA already under a court restriction, backing out would have only led to more legal trouble. Just take a look at this conversation between NTA and Discuse.
Is this real chat?
But the most shocking part is that this entire acquisition deal could have been a partnership between Rockstar and CFX.RE. Instead, Deltanic refused Rockstar's partnership offer without even consulting NTA. Despite everything, NTA found some relief in the idea that Rockstar's leadership might finally bring order to CFX.RE, allowing them to step away from management duties. But that did not happen. Rockstar put Ethan Hirsch in charge of finalizing the acquisition and integrating 5M into the company. As the new big boss of 5M, Hirsch assumed full control of management, but for NTA, things got worse. In fact, just weeks after Rockstar took over, NTA was suspended for 3 weeks due to internal conflicts with the Deltanic group. It was clear that Deltanic and his crew had won over Hirsch, probably because they had been Rockstar's main source of internal information about 5M and had played a key role in securing this acquisition. This became even more obvious when Hirsch created this corporate hierarchy within the company, placing Deltanic and his close friends at the top positions. Deltanic himself was given the title of assistant director of the project. Meanwhile, Discuse, the core developer who had made massive contributions to 5M and was practically the backbone of the entire Red M project, was given no position at all. Even NTA, the original creator of 5M, was brought on as nothing more than a contractor. From the very beginning, Hirsch's bias was undeniable, and as time went on, it only became more apparent. After 3 weeks of suspension, NTA came back, but shortly after, they were yet again suspended. This time, it was over harassment allegations made by the same group that had been working against them from the start. And this wasn't a short-term punishment. It was a 3-month-long suspension that heavily disrupted the entire team. Except, this time, the suspension never lifted. In fact, after 3 months had passed, Rockstar announced that they've decided to terminate NTA's contract for good. Of course, it came as a shock and caused a lot of disruption in the team, since no other developer had the same experience as NTA. After the acquisition, 5M was technically part of Rockstar, but the team wasn't treated that way. Even months later, they still had zero access to GTA 5's source code, despite now being under Rockstar's umbrella. To make things even more frustrating, Rockstar's infamous 2022 security breach had already leaked the source code to the public, yet the actual 5M developers were still left in the dark. Instead of being given the resources to properly integrate and improve 5M, the team was forced to continue reverse engineering exploits, a painstaking process that took weeks or even months to fix, which could easily have been resolved within minutes. However, internal conflicts and personal drama were not the biggest problems for 5M. The management had always been rocky, but with Rockstar in control now, things only spiraled further downhill. Not only did Hirsch dismantle an already struggling team, but Rockstar sealed 5M's fate by replacing CFX.RE's terms of service with a new platform license agreement. At first, the PLA didn't seem drastically different from 5M's TOS, but there was one critical change that turned everything upside down: the way Hirsch handled enforcement. It was unnecessarily hostile and even unfairly biased. The enforcement team began flooding server owners with warnings and takedown threats over the most random brand-related assets. But that wasn't the actual problem here. These takedowns just seemed more targeted. Many server owners reported receiving harsh penalties, while others, using the exact same assets, got away without a scratch. Some servers were wiped out overnight, losing assets that had taken years to build, while others mysteriously remained untouched. The favoritism was obvious, and for many in the community, this was the moment 5M truly started to fall apart. One of the biggest victims of Rockstar's aggressive and unfair enforcement was Rockstar Mischief, or RSM, a growing 5M server that suffered a massive loss of players due to sudden and selective takedown actions. Unlike some servers that seemed to get a free pass, RSM found itself directly in the crosshairs, and its owner, Nex, decided to speak up about it and boycott 5M altogether. This wasn't just bad enforcement, it was favoritism, plain and simple. Massive servers like NoPixel and Complexo were left untouched, even when reported to Rockstar's higher-ups. Now, this whole tactic resulted in players abandoning 5M servers, and even forced many server owners to shut down their projects. But why? Wouldn't sabotaging 5M hurt Rockstar's own image? And why were the biggest servers conveniently spared from punishment despite openly violating the TOS? Well, it all becomes clear when we learn that all this time, Rockstar was secretly working on their own project called Rome, or Rockstar's online modding engine.
Hey man, Rockstar gotta stop playing and drop GTA 6. Got bullshitting at this point. Like, come on, nigga. That's all we need. GTA 6. And that's it, bro. That's all we need. Can we just get that, please? It's about time. Like, a nigga needs that. Like, a nigga wanna play that shit. Like, y'all playing with our tops, man. It's not cool. It's not cool, bro. Y'all gotta get to it, Rockstar. Before I pull up and do what I gotta do. You feel me? Don't play with your boy. I turn to Trevor right quick. You feel me? Nah, I'm fucking with y'all. I don't got lawyer money, so I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. Let's get back to the video.
A platform much like 5M that would offer players UGC content within an official Rockstar-controlled environment. And apparently Rockstar had a deal with some big server owners over at 5M, convincing them to jump ship and bring their entire player base over to Rome when it launches. Despite 5M still pulling in hundreds of thousands of players daily, its overall state was actually crumbling. Longtime community members, server owners, and fans were growing increasingly frustrated. However, due to Rockstar's ridiculously strict communication policies, even the team members who actually wanted to solve these problems weren't allowed to address them publicly. Things got further out of control when stolen or cracked assets were being resold through escrow, with people charging money for content they didn't even own. However, 5M management did nothing about it. Every complaint either went completely ignored or got a lazy solved tag slapped on the ticket. To make matters worse, some server owners started exploiting bots to increase
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. I don't play by my mind. I don't give a fuck what you say. I make music with this motherfucker. If I drop this motherfucker, my heart drops too. You feel me? So, love you, baby. Behave, okay? Behave. Let's get back to it. Don't forget, God is good. Let's get back to the video.
Their player counts, giving them an unfair advantage over others who had actually worked hundreds of hours and spent tons of money growing their servers organically. Then came the rise of fake upvote services, with people using credit card fraud, order cancellations, and stolen accounts to buy or resell fraudulent boosts. Upper management, or the Groot Gang, handled this criticism the worst way possible, by deleting comments, banning and muting community members, and doing everything they could to cover up their incompetence. This endless cycle of mismanagement, laziness, and total disregard for the community took a toll on the core team, the same people who had worked tirelessly to make FiveM and RedM the massive successes they were. Seeing all this, a long-standing community member, Vivian, decided to take action by writing an open letter. It wasn't meant to be an attack, just a plea for transparency and actual engagement from those in charge. The post quickly gained massive traction, with countless community members sharing their own experiences, and almost everyone agreed with Vivian's points. Even several team members joined in, including NTA, who decided to speak up about the current state of FiveM and set some records straight, but that didn't set well with Rockstar. In response to NTA's public statement in the open letter, Rockstar cut the payout in half. Instead of FiveM being sold for 20 months worth of operating income, it was cut down to just 10 months. Looking at the whole mess, Ethan decided to hire new developers to try and salvage the situation. That's when the former Alt-5 team entered, namely Tuxic, Zigger, Vector, Fabian, and Leon. After some negotiations with Ethan, the Alt-5 team managed to get inside FiveM, with Tuxic taking the lead developer role alongside Nihonium from the Groot Gang. And strangely enough, these newcomers were getting paid more than the original team. Despite everything, CFX and Rockstar were hoping that with Alt-5 joining, things would finally start to improve for FiveM. But instead of things getting better, something way worse happened. Remember the GTA 5 source code leak from December 2023? It was widely believed that Teapot Uber hacker was behind it, the same guy who hacked Rockstar's private Slack server and leaked early GTA 6 development footage. However, conversations in this detailed expose reveal that it was Alt-5 members who purchased the source code from someone with access to it, using a middleman for €7,000. They received the
That's
source
crazy.
code through a Mediafire link, which was later leaked to the public along with the private password. Of course, Rockstar had no clue who was behind it at the time. The only person who did know was Discuse, who was told everything by Tuxic himself. But Discuse refused to give him up, for friendship's sake. Friendships aside, the original FiveM developers never really got along with the new Alt-5 members. The reason for that is that Alt-5 had been stealing FiveM's code and implementing it into their own project without permission for years.
That's
Not only
crazy.
that, but they lacked the skill and deep understanding of GTA 5 and FiveM that the OG team had. Instead of learning from them and working together, the Alt-5 team sided with the Groot Gang, and their behavior became just as careless and dismissive. They started doing things on their own, skipping necessary tests, ignoring security vulnerabilities, and took way too long to act on the most basic and important things. Discuse tried to bring all of this to Ethan's attention, but instead of fixing things, an argument broke out, which eventually resulted in Ethan kicking Discuse out of the project without any prior warning.
Nah,
To
them
make
niggas, how them niggas got the tea though? Like, they be knowing everything. The fuck? Like, how they be knowing all this fucking inside? Like what the fuck? Like, why we doing that? It's cool though. I fuck with the info, but I feel like they, cause are they like reading from like, I don't know, like, who's giving you like, this information? Like, who's doing that? Like, I want to know. Cause at the end of the day, the fuck. I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta do your research, and it's just out there. You just gotta look for it. You feel me? And people talk at the end of the day. Maybe if they went through the court, court files are public and shit. You could just search them up and read about it. You know, maybe that's the reason how this individual got the information. See what I'm saying? Let's get back to the video. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
To make matters worse, Ethan had his work PC erased, wiping out months, if not years, of research, improvements, and future plans for both 5M and Red M. Ethan then tried to shift the blame onto the CFX.RE team, claiming that even the OG 5M developers were unhappy with the SKUs, and that whole negativity in the team was all his doing. However, that was a pure lie. The moment Discuse was fired, the OG team followed suit. The lead anti-cheat developer was the first to resign, followed by Gotti, who quit just a couple of weeks later without prior notice.
Said
And
I.
finally, Thorium announced his departure from the team as well. With that, the entire original 5M team, the people who actually built it from the ground up, were gone. 5M is no longer the same project that started back in 2015. Everything has changed. It no longer remains an open source community-powered platform. It no longer has a clear direction, a passionate team of developers, and it's heavily restricted by Rockstar's policies that aren't even fair for all. But is Rockstar really at fault here? There's no denying the fact that 5M was already a big mess well before Rockstar even intervened. While NTA is no doubt a legendary developer, they weren't ready for such a big management responsibility, and Rockstar seemed like a safe option for the project to gain some stability. However, Rockstar had other plans from the very beginning. They carefully orchestrated this to take control of their only real competitor that they couldn't shut with the legalities. Even after the acquisition, Rockstar's management has done more damage than good to 5M and its reputation, pushing players and server owners away from the platform, offering unfair and special treatment to massive servers like NoPixel and Complexo in return for their help with Rome. While we can't put all the blame on Rockstar, it's clear that Ethan did have ulterior motives that slowly destroyed 5M's team from the inside. It was Ethan's responsibility to keep things civil and equal within the CFX.RE team after the acquisition, but all he did was play favorites, ignore important issues, and get rid of the only people who cared more about the project than money and titles. For many players and developers who truly valued its freedom and creativity, 5M is already dead. The only reason Rockstar is keeping it on life support is to avoid a massive backlash from the millions of fans who still love what 5M once stood for. But make no mistake, the end is coming, and probably sooner than most people think. With GTA 6 coming, Rockstar has likely already mapped out its plans for Rome, their very own official modding platform. And they won't be doing it alone. They've brought major 5M players like NoPixel, Complexo, and others onto their side, ensuring that when the switch happens, they'll already have a loyal base ready to jump ship. It's a slow and calculated takeover, one that was never about supporting 5M, but about replacing it entirely. There's still so much more to unpack. Betrayals, backstabbing, stolen assets, and broken promises. But in the end, it all leads to one undeniable truth. This is the end of an era. 5M, as the community knew it, is gone, and Rockstar is ready to take full control of what comes next.
Hell no. 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 Hey, by the way, we need GTA 6. Nothing else. Hey, that's fucked up though. I don't know. Now, what y'all think about that? Um, at the end of the day gotta end. So, but I'll be back later, and we gonna watch and react to other videos. We gonna watch some intense videos. So, um, check your boy out type shit. I'll be back. I'll be back later type shit. Don't forget about me. I'll be back later. By the way, if you missed the streams, you could check me out on YouTube, Vick Twizzy Live. You feel me? So you're gonna enjoy that. It's officially there. You'll be able to see most of my streams. I'm still working on my sound. I'm still working on my whole production. You feel me? So this is a work in progress. And hopefully you guys get to see the whole, you know, the come up. Right now I'm at 4 followers in Twitch. You feel me? I'm trying to do this shit organically without dick riding and glazing. You feel me? So I'm trying to just have fun, be myself, because at the end of the day, somebody gonna fuck with me because I fuck with myself. I'm not trying to say too much. And I'll be back later. Don't forget, God is good. Yeah, all the time, every time. God is good.